Hello, everybody. Sweet Tequila here. So today is Friday. It's another episode of Wandavision, a show that I was kind of leery about at first, but I've really come to like it. And I'm going to give you my initial reactions. Huge spoiler warning. Just so you know, you've been warned. There are spoilers. Let's get to it. But first, if you like content about comic books, Star Wars, retro video games, or anything silly that you want to talk about or you want to know about, hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. Again, there's a spoiler warning, just so you know. Now, to begin with, this is a show. It's based on a comic called that. It's loosely based on a comic called The House of M. More on that later. But the episode opens with a little rehash of it, which, to me, being a kid that grew up in the '90s, it's all I can hear is previously on the X-Men because Wanda's directly connected to the X-Men. Anyway, so the intro is almost a direct clone of the Malcolm in the Middle intro, obviously changed for this particular series. They give you a hint of the characters' personalities. Quicksilver, he is the fun uncle that gets in trouble, or the kids get in trouble, and he's just like, all right, which is kind of a throwback to like Uncle Jesse or any other 90s TV sitcom uncle you can think of. And I really appreciate how they're giving homages to the decades that they're doing. First it was the 50s, then the 60s, 70s, 80s, and now 90s. So after the intro, immediately they start throwing Easter eggs at you, mainly in the form of costumes. They show the twins, Tommy and Billy, which are in the comics actually Wanda's children, and they're superhero names. They're part of the New Avengers, and it's Speed and Wiccan. By the way, I have a notebook that I wrote down notes so I wouldn't forget anything. You have Speed and Wiccan. Speed is wearing green, which is very a huge callback to his comic book uniform, which you'll see right here. Wiccan has a dark blue headband. He has a red cape, and just the colors of his entire uniform is spot on. And then you have Vision come out. Vision actually looks like his comic book version as a Halloween costume, as does Wanda. And she comes down. It's the typical. It's the red thing that goes around her face and looks like a giant M. And then later in the episode, you have Quicksilver. He has like the sky powder blue with the silver lightning bolt across his chest. And then he winds up dressing his nephew like that. His nephew Speed like that. So there's a whole lot going on in this episode, and I am going to miss some of it. And if you guys want to, add in something that you saw, please feel free. Throw it in the comments down below. I'll look at it and I'll respond, and we'll nerd out on the whole thing because I love this stuff. So I just want to say, kind of a side note, Darcy Lewis, played by Kat Dennings, is awesome. I love her character. As much as this show is a comedy, she's comic relief from the serious tones of like the military scenes. She's hilarious to me. So once they're out and trick-or-treating and Vision has kind of gone away and does what he does, Quicksilver, Uncle P, as he calls himself, says wants to do something with the kids, and then he says, "Kick ass," and puts his hand down, and Speed hits his hand, and he says, "Kick ass too," and then they walk away, and Wanda's like, kick ass. Now that's one of the biggest fourth wall breaks I've ever seen, and here's why. So Evan Peters plays Uncle P, Pietro, Quicksilver, whichever one you want to call him. He was a supporting character in the movie Kick-Ass. If you've never seen it, it's violent. It's not meant for children, but it does have Evan Peters in it. And it's pretty funny. It's not one of the big budget comic book movies, but it's entertaining, and I kind of like it. So Evan Peters plays the supporting cast to the main character, whose superhero name is Kick-Ass, who is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, and obviously Quicksilver died in that, and that was the last time we've seen him except in flashbacks. So there's a gigantic fourth wall break of the two Quicksilvers in one movie, and then they're connected by their sister Wanda Maximoff. So I thought that was cool when I was watching it. I was like, "Whoa, whoa! You can't break the fourth wall that much," and everybody's just like, "Oh yeah, whatever." So I thought that was really cool. So another thing, the townspeople, they're obviously in a suspended animation, whether that's just completely standing still, or there's one lady who's trying to hook a ghost onto a line as a decoration, and she's like a GIF. She just keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then you see a tear come down her face. So much like in the last episode, there was the guy that Vision kind of made, touched his temples and he made him snap out of it. And the guy was like, "Oh, it's so much pain," all this kind of stuff. Well, more of that is played out. And so the reason that I bring that up, it's an obvious thing to the story, but I was kind of hoping, and which I'll elaborate more on this later, but I was kind of hoping that they would bring in the only other character in Marvel that I know of that can do that. Not Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel Universe in the comics. The only other person I know that can do that is Professor X. So, and he was a huge part of the House of M storyline because he was the leader of the X-Men, and Wanda's father, Magneto, is Professor X's basically best friend. So there's a whole lot going on there. There's a lot of opportunities, and we'll just have to see what Marvel decides to do with it going forward. And so, as far as the House of M goes, I said I would, elaborate on that. This is basically what it is. Wanda Maximoff, as we know, is Scarlet Witch. She has a mental breakdown, and a lot of bad stuff happens, just like in the movies. A lot of bad stuff happens to her. She has a mental breakdown, and her power, part of it, she's a walking reality stone. Even though in the movie she got her powers from the Mind Stone, in the comics she's a walking reality stone. She can change reality to what she wants. And she actually starts changing reality to fit a more palatable existence, just like she does in this show, which is why I like it so much. They're paying a lot of respect to the source material. And when she does that, a lot of things start going wrong, as you can probably imagine. And Professor X, Magneto, and the Avengers essentially have various different meetings to decide what to do about Wanda and whether or not to kill her. Obviously, Magneto doesn't want to do that, but the Avengers are like, "Dude, she's messing everything up," and I think Wolverine steps in, and he's, believe it or not, Wolverine's the middle ground. He has no problem with killing people. But he's like, "Hey, that's our friend and teammate, off and on, but also she's messing all this stuff up." So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. And I use that as a segue into my next point, which is the X-Men. Now, I personally am a huge X-Men fan. I have been since I was a kid. I know that I have the bat signal up there. That's a joke that I will explain one day, but not today. So, I first started liking comics. I saw Batman 1989 first, but I saw the X-Men comic, or the X-Men television show, the cartoon, in '92 a few times because I lived way out in the country and we couldn't pick it up. And I don't even think they ran cable all the way out there. Anyway, excuse me. So that show got me into liking comic books. Therefore, I am very, very, very excited for them to bring the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the reason I bring that up is what happens at the end of the episode. Wanda takes the perimeter of the town, which is basically some sort of energy field, and she expands it. And earlier in the episode, Monica Rambeau, who has been through that force field twice, they kind of hinted at it a few episodes ago, or maybe last episode. Anyway, they hinted at something going on with her because she had been through that force field. Well, now they elaborate on it. Darcy is breaking into, I think it's Hayward's computer. The guy who is heading up the sword operation about this, what Wanda's doing. Well, Darcy's breaking into his computer, and she finds Monica's basically blood samples, and she says that it's changing your cells at a molecular level. Okay, a molecular level. Now, what's to stop it from going one step farther and changing people's DNA, making them mutants? So I saw that and I started losing my mind, and I was like, yes, yes. It's a perfect opportunity to bring the X-Men in, and I'm very excited to see what Marvel's going to do coming up, and I'm loving this show so far. Those are basically my main takeaways from the show. I just watched it maybe 20 minutes ago, and I've been processing it since then. I'm very excited to see what else they do. And with the expansion of the perimeter of the town, it's going to be interesting to see how Wanda copes with that, because it's going to take more of her effort to control all of that, because she's controlling everything. It doesn't take a whole lot to just hold people in stasis, as opposed to making people do different little different things every day. So, like I said, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. On the subject of the force field expanding, Darcy gets chained to the front of she gets handcuffed to the front of a truck, and whenever the field starts expanding, all of the sword agents and everything they hightail it out of there. Well, Darcy's left there, and she gets caught by the force field. So the question then that I have is, what is going to happen to Darcy? And that's basically my last note that I put in there, because it's right at the end of the episode. So, again, let me know what you guys think, because all of our opinions go together. I want to hear your theories. I want to see what you noticed, and what was your favorite part of the episode, and who's your favorite character of the show so far. Let me know down in the comments below. I'll be looking for it, and I hope we can get some good conversations and bounce some ideas off of each other. That concludes this video. If you like this kind of content, you want to see other Marvel-based content, comic books, video games, whatever, hit that like button. And if you really like what you saw here, you want to see more, put a Hulk smash on that subscribe button, and make sure you click the bell so that you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And if you want to see retro video games and stuff like that played live, then I'm a streamer on theta.tv/sweettequila. The link is down in the description below. and I don't have a set schedule yet. I'm working on getting that worked out. There's some things that my wife and I are working on, and we have some plans and different ideas for this channel in the future. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And the motto of this channel is, as always, be excellent to each other. Bye.